Shit. I don't know how to start it.
Cut that fucking bit out. That was awful.
Well, I'm the editor. I know what to cut out. So if someone wants to just start, I'm tired of starting.
So wait, did I make a joke last episode about rabbit nationalism and this movie being about rabbit nationalism? Because I've been more wrong about things.
I think that happened. I don't know if it...
it's not really about... but it is kind of about rabbit nationalism. That was the thing.
Well, the book kind of goes into those themes a little bit more, especially with Woundworth's backstory, because in his backstory, well, I guess I could save it for later, but
yeah, I was just kicking it off. This movie's awesome, by the way. I was super into it.
Yeah,
it was pretty good.
It's great.
After watching it, I was like, I don't know what the themes are about at all. So I looked it up, and apparently the creator was like, "There's no themes; it's just a story."
Yeah, it's just a story.
Well,
so it's one of those Evangelion-y things where like, who do you listen to for the thematics? The fans who made it their own, or like the original creator?
You listen to your own brain.
Like Evangelion.
You use your own brain to determine what you think it means to you.
It's almost like art is interpretation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think the movie's about a lot of things. And I don't really care what the guy who made it has to say about it, honestly.
Yeah. It did
Either
make
Michael
me feel better,
Rosen
though, about
or
when I'm...
Richard Adams.
It did make me feel better, though, that like when I'm watching it, I'm like, what is this about? But then after, I was like, okay, so they didn't... or the original source didn't really have anything in mind. So I kind of feel better about not detecting it in the first place or picking up anything in the first place.
It's as much... it has as, like I said last week, it makes a lot of... there's some clear, like, similarities to this, to, like, something like the Odyssey.
Yeah.
Or the Aeneid, or however you say that. So, those stories don't really have a point, necessarily. It's more just like, hey, this is some cool stuff that a dude did.
Right, but
that's a cool thing.
But it's all context.
But exactly what movie are we talking about?
Watership Down.
What was that horrible joke you made, Dunk? Website Down?
Yeah, and instead of about...
with the rab.it.
Yeah, because they're shutting... Yeah, it was really bad.
Oh, man. Oh, jeez.
It's perfect.
So, Soy, you picked another 70s movie? Because we've just been doing 70s movies.
It was... Yeah, it was unintentional. I thought it came out in... like 81.
The only one of the movies that really like feels like 70s is the Schwarzenegger one, because the other two are kind of just stories that could have happened.
Yeah, the animation in this wasn't like Ralph Bakshi enough for me to be like, oh, that's a 70s movie.
Well, yeah,
it's still kind of a 70s movie, but like when I think 70s animation, I think of those... What is that guy? Yeah, Ralph Bakshi stuff, really. He's only 70s. Well, yeah,
I remember last episode you said, like, does it have a thin film of coal dust? I'm like, what? No,
not thin coal dust, but I said, do all the brushstrokes look like they were made with a chimney sweeper?
Yeah, and I had no idea what the hell you were talking about, yeah.
Do you guys know how sometimes in 70s animation, the brush lines are like super fucking rough?
No.
But
I haven't seen a lot of 70s animation, so what do I know?
Yeah.
I think that's just... I don't know. That might just be attributed more to like a few popular directors like Don Bluth or like you said, Ralph Bakshi, whose styles were very prevalent in that era. Because I don't know. I'm not an expert in 70s animation either. I think the Aristocats came out in the 70s.
Yeah. This definitely has like, I feel like there are other films like this from around the same time where the animation is very like down to earth and it's not. It's charismatic, but not in the way like a Disney movie is, where it's just really exaggerated and like perfect. All the characters, it's very like it's not that it's realistic, but it has an affection for real nature. Like when you watch the...
I looked up animated movies that were like before this. Like specifically, I saw the one from Animal Farm from 1954. And the animation there was so much better. And I'm watching this and I'm like, what's the deal?
Well, you know the deal behind that, right? That was actually funded.
I don't.
Well, are you aware of the original ending to Animal Farm?
I am not.
Well, basically,
we're going to get into the Bolshevik
ending, right?
Revolution.
Well, basically,
I know it's like Russian,
I'm not going to get too into it, but basically, the ending of the book is a lot more ambiguous than the animated movie because the animated movie, I don't know the exact background, but they didn't have a whole lot of money going behind it. other than the fact that like this was the first animated film to be entirely made in Britain. But also, the CIA got involved, and they were like, hey, we'll give you the money if you change the ending to be more triumphant, so that way, like, we can conquer the Red Menace. Because basically, in the end of the book, like, all the leaders of the quote-unquote Soviet state of the farm just basically get into an argument. Like, there's a final sentence that's like, the animals can't tell the difference between the pigs and the men. So it's like, they've become what they hate. But then in the movie, that almost happens, but then Benjamin the donkey like leads a second revolt and defeats all the pigs.
Oh my god!
So
it's like holy shit, dude! That's the worst. That's like
it kind of defeats the whole analogy when it's just like, hey, they saved the day.
That's like at the end of Diablo 1, if the last level is you play as some other character stopping your previous character, stopping the ending from being. Have you guys even played Diablo 1? I don't even know.
No,
not extensively.
50. It's pretty bad, but we won't get into that.
Oh,
I think it's
Speaking
bad.
of Diablo, rabbits.
Yeah,
Watership Down. So to get
what's the movie about? Yeah,
in the beginning of the film, they detail essentially what the rabbits consider to be their creation myth, where basically their god Frith, who's basically the sun, made all the animals and all the birds, and initially they're all basically the same in that, you know, they're all herbivores and they just kind of live together and it's all cool and shit. And then El-Hara, who's like the lord of the rabbits, is also there. And he's cool with everyone. Yeah, it's all cool. But El-Hara fucks a whole lot. And now he's got a shit ton of kids and they're eating all the grass.
Yeah.
And all the animals basically plead to Frith, hey, we can't eat his kids. They're eating too much shit.
Right off the bat, we just get like, I don't want to say dense, but it's definitely like some guy made this mythos, and you just kind of have to jump in with all these weird names and all this type of really off stuff.
In the book, it's a little bit. It's not quite as I don't know. It's a little different because there are actually several myths that are presented in the book, and that's one of the biggest differences between the book and the film is that there's not quite as much explanation for the world building.
But
for example, you know, with the myth in the beginning, but
we were talking about
you can determine enough.
Like Akira doesn't have enough of the manga in it to fully make sense, but I think this has enough of the source material to be fully self-contained and not be confusing or anything.
It's definitely one of those things where it's like book versus movie. It's like it's an adaptation. How much of the book do we really need in this? Which I think is
there is definitely a lot of little stuff from the book that gets kind of trimmed.
Well, it's just
later.
a difference of format because it would feel bloated if they included all the
also there
details.
There are also like characters chopped out as well, but that also may just be because they didn't want to animate as many rabbits.
Right. Yeah.
But anyways.
Another note I had about the movie is just when it starts, just the audio quality of the voices are pretty low. They're very compressed because it's old, so it just made it a little hard for me to understand.
Oh man, you got to get those subtitles, dude.
It would be pretty hard if you didn't have ears, like our good friend Mario over here.
Oh, shut up.
Anyways,
division has been sown among the cast members.
We're going to end by episode 5. But basically, the animals plead to Frith, and Frith basically, you know, he goes down to El-Hara. He's like, hey, you got to keep your kids under control, man. And El-Hara is like, my people are the best. They're the strongest. And Frith's just like, well, they're not going to be strong when I do this. And he basically changes all the animals to make them, you know, quote unquote, like different.
He created the entire ecosystem in like one snap of his finger. Like he had it ready to go.
All because
he is a god.
I know.
Yeah. So basically the sun was like, yo, Rabbit, stop fucking so much. And Rabbit's like, it's fine. And then the sun's like, no, okay, fuck you then. And then he makes all these people that were like friends into predators now.
Yeah, but it's.
I mean,
like,
to be like
balanced.
That's the idea. Yes, because so Frith, they explain later. You know, I mean, Frith doesn't hate El-Hara as much as he hates anyone else. He's just trying to keep the world in balance.
Well,
but he gives a lot of the animals, you know, teeth and claws and the fierce desire to hunt and slay his children as they specify. And El Herrera's like, oh shit, they're going to come for me. I've never seen the Black Rabbit of Inlay, which just means the moon, because that's their god of death, because if the sun is life, the moon is death. Yeah, that's covered more in the book. So El Herrera starts digging a hole, and Frith's like, hey, have you seen that rabbit guy? I'm going to bless him. Nope, I haven't seen him. Not a peep.
Talking to an obvious rabbit butt.
Yeah.
He's just fucking with him. Like, he knows it's El Herrera. He's like, well, if you come out of that hole, I'm going to bless you instead. Nope. The fox and weasel are going to come this way. I need to be ready. If you want to bless me, you're going to have to bless my butt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
And he gives him really strong legs, gives him a really fancy tail, gives him a very sleek body, ideal for running. And that's essentially the end of the story, the creation myth, barring the end of Frith's speech about be cunning and your people won't be destroyed.
And then from the lore, we switched to like from the very first part. It's very, I don't know how you would describe it, but like it's almost like what are they called?
Cave paintings.
Yeah, exactly, cave paintings, but like on a white thing, but like really scrawly type of stuff. And then we switched to like I don't know, I don't want to even say real life because it's not real life,
but it's
contemporary. Yeah,
I don't know.
We switched to the main setting
paintings.
of the film,
right? But it's very like I said, it's very enamored. Like of actual nature, so there's emphasis on the things that are cute, but also like real
the things that are
blood
terrifying.
And muscles and bones and grass and dirt and such.
Yeah, of course.
But
because there is a lot of violence in this.
Oh yeah, I was
a lot
really
of violence.
Kind of
a lot of rabbit on rabbit violence.
But I do want to talk about the creation myth because I don't know how much of it I should save for later. It is a lot more colorful and kind of like bombastic for that sequence. And then it like the palette of the main film is much more subdued and it's kind of dark really, but it's not necessarily oppressive when you're watching it. It's just I don't know. It's kind of animation I'm not really used to, and I'd like to see more of it.
Yeah, I agree. I was definitely taken aback because I think this is the only animation from the 70s that I've seen of its kind. Like, it's the only thing that I've been given. So it's like it's always usually anime or older cartoons or Disney stuff, but never this weird. I don't know. I don't want to say budget, but kind of budget. Like it's you see a lot of animation errors, lots of weird looping.
Yeah,
frames.
But it doesn't really matter.
No, it doesn't matter. You definitely get used to it. It's only there if you really try to pick it apart.
Like some people.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I have stuff to say about Frith, but I think I'll get to that when a bit more of the story is developed, so we can get into the prophecy of doom.
Yeah, because when we cut back to, I guess, the start of the story, we have the main character Hazel and his brother Fiver. And Fiver's name is actually interesting as a little aside, because in the book, it's Hreru, which basically just means little thousand, because I think I talked about this a little bit last week off mic, but one of the more interesting bits of rabbit lore that's not really discussed in the film is that rabbits can only count to 4 because they've got 4 like paws.
Yeah.
So any number bigger than 4 is just like more than 4. Just rare. That's where the rare part in El Herrera comes from.
Right.
Is his name literally translates to thousand enemy, or enemy thousand prince.
Freaking
prince with 1,000 enemies.
I swear to God, I will never get used to this word rabbit lore, which is a thing that I just have to
if you want more of it, you can check out the book. It's pretty neat. It's pretty neat.
I guess it's all just there. There's no like stupid. What is it? What is the Lord of the Rings one? Like the extra lore book.
You mean the Silmarillion?
Oh, fuck off!
There's no
that.
Silmarillion.
It's presented
for this
more
universe.
naturally, especially through one character, Dandelion, who does periodically throughout the book tell stories, and another character tells one.
Because he doesn't really do much in the movie.
Where are we going to get the Watership Down cinematic universe? It's there.
I mean, there was a TV show. Apparently, there's a new series on Netflix.
Yeah, I was going to mention this stuff near the end.
Yeah,
they're just
so we get Hazel, we get Fiver, and Fiver's got a cool name.
Fiver while Hazel and Fiverr are eating grass, just
we're sort of
enjoying
they're like there's like a community here, right?
Yeah, they're in the Sandalford Warren is what it's referred to. It's just their little community. It's where all of the characters are from, pretty much. And as they reach like the edge of their field, Fiverr basically receives a vision of his warren, of their warren being destroyed by what he's not sure.
Tweaker rabbit.
And you get some trippy imagery of like the
blood,
the field bleeding, and like everything swirling together. And
I wrote on my notes
like, "Come on, calm down."
What the fuck?
Yeah.
And before this, Fiverr like smells like a cigarette, and they pass by the cigarette, and he's freaking out, and I'm like, "What was in the cigarette?" Like that's all I could think about.
I mean, probably tobacco, if I had to guess. That's just me.
A bunch of like unnecessary carcinogens that increase the addictivity.
As well as, of course, like Carmax.
This episode's brought to you by Truth Campaign to stop smoking.
Oh god, this episode brought to you by MTV.
This is the most effective anti-cigarette ad from the 70s.
Course. So, Fiverr demands to see the Chief Rabbit, so Hazel takes him to it, and we're introduced to a few more characters like Bigwig, Captain Holly. Bigwig has a untranslated name too. I think it's like Thlail or something like that.
Well, I can see why the actors may have needed a more pronounceable name to work with.
I mean, even
so
in
you're
the
just
book,
making things up, man. Next you're gonna tell me we're gonna meet up. We're gonna meet and Jaboy over there.
They call cars Harududus, so you're not that far off.
That was when they said that. I kind of thought it was like an onomatopoeia, like it's like the sound of the wheels.
That's how I always. Right. That's how I internalized it.
The sound of the engine. Yeah.
All right.
So
we meet Bigwig, and he's like a tough rabbit, and he's got like a tuft of hair on his head too.
Really weird.
That's why he's got a big wig on his head.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, dude, I didn't even realize.
Hence the name.
Do rabbits actually have that?
Really
Rabbits
stupid,
have like they can have tufts of hair on the top, right?
I mean, probably. I'm not a rabbitologist. I mean,
if not, it's a good way to tell apart all the gray rabbits and the brown rabbits, and so later on we get rabbits that you can only tell them apart because they're like gray and they have like blue eyes or green eyes.
But the ones that you have to note that have names, they're pretty good at having identifiable features. Better than I would have expected, actually.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, like Fiverr. I don't know if we describe it. Fiverr's like really like kind of
mousy.
Hazel looks like a very generic kind of clean cut rabbit. Bigwig has the thing on his head.
Yeah.
Yes, and Fiverr and Hazel, they talk with the Chief Rabbit, who I believe his name is Threra, I think, in the book, which is just like a type of...
And I love how...
All right.
Just
excuse me for being well-read.
No, go ahead. But I'm just like, I don't know. Go ahead.
This is a fucking rabbit language. It's not going to be like English.
Yeah.
Rabbits just do thumps and stuff. I think.
Anyways, so they talk with the chief, and the chief like just sort of half-heartedly dismisses them. It's just like, that's not going to happen. Whatever. And then Bigwig gets his ears chewed out for it.
I love the
not literally
the portrayal of incompetence.
No, he does.
Oh, he does?
Yes, he does. That's literally what happens.
My bad.
Yeah. I like the portrayal of incompetence on the part of the chief because he's like too fat for the part of the burrow he's in, and he's just like sitting in there all day just eating leaves, and it's like, don't bother me, you fucking dicks. Like, just never talk to me. And like they're like, yeah, but what about the last times Fiverr had a premonition and it was right?
Yeah, like the flood.
And it's like, just get on my fucking burrow, just chewing like and it's very humanizing. It's a very human familiarity with incompetent authority. Begins,
and it's a thing we've seen a lot of times before where like 80s movies or whatever, kids are like, we gotta tell the grown-ups, but the grown-ups don't listen.
But I like that the rabbits are humanized before we even know that there are any real humans in the story at all. That sets up an interesting dynamic for when the humans actually do come into play. But anyway,
well, actually we do kind of understand because of the cigarette earlier.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But you're
the
right,
whole real estate development.
Yeah, but we don't really find out what that is until
before,
a couple minutes after.
I thought it was pretty obvious.
I mean, I guess from a certain
which is
lens,
after
yeah.
this.
But I guess if you're being like formalist, there's no proof until that happens. Yeah.
It's actually different what happens in the book than in the movie. Surprise, surprise.
We're almost there.
But yeah, so Fiver and Hazel leave, and later that night, they manage to gather up quite a few other...
small group, yeah.
Yeah, quite a few other rabbits, like Blackberry and Dandelion, Silver, Pipkin.
And they all just...
later they're joined by Bigwig.
Unsure about what's happening, so they...
Of course they do, because they're all going on the trust of Fiver.
Of the Fiver, who's had the premonitions correct before, so...
Yeah, and that's one of the more interesting things I think is about Hazel's character development is that really in the beginning he's just sort of going along with his brother, but because his brother is kind of just, he only really believes his visions. Hazel just kind of has to step up and be the leader of the group because otherwise it's just very unfocused. And also there's another rabbit, Violet, who wasn't in the book. They just added her for a very particular and very odd purpose that I know you two probably already know about.
I think I know which one that one is.
Yeah.
Does it have to do with...
I'll just say right now, she's the only doe in the group. So anyways, they leave, and before they leave, they're stopped by Captain Holly.
And he goes, "You're all under arrest." And I just wrote LOL.
Yeah.
Bigwig just hops on top of them, and they all just run
but
away.
I love how direct the rabbits are. Like they don't make any sort of threat that like humans would make. They just say, "All right, dude, get out of my way, or I am going to murder you. I am going to kill you. I'm going to take your life with my claws. You're going to bleed out in the grass and die if you do not leave the path." And like, it's just very direct and blunt.
That directness, it's funny you bring it up, is something that's, again, something that's slightly more important in the book.
Okay.
Will be important when we meet Cowslip. But I'm jumping ahead.
Yeah, we'll get to Cowslip. I'm not trying to ruin it.
So they go through the woods. Eventually they come across a river while there's like a dog pursuing them with like a hunting party.
Not a dog pursuing them, but like I think the dog just happens to be in the area because they're hunting whatever.
Well, I think he catches trail of their scent, and they probably just don't want to be near him. Yeah. So
and that's
not pursuit, but just he happens to be right next to them, which is a problem.
That's around the time the real estate sign is shown to the audience.
The sign was shown when they were when they
leave the Warren.
Right. Yeah.
But before they meet the captain,
before they get stopped by Captain. Yeah. So it's a really just like it's just a tracking shot from right to left. So we're just following the rabbits, but we just pass by a sign.
So that's
something like that. But it's very.
But that's
small,
when I saw what I think is the core dynamic of the film kind of take shape. Is that for the rabbits, the humans trying to build a real estate is a totally existential threat. It'd be the equivalent of us trying to deal with Cthulhu or something. So
trying to build a house. On
they do.
Earth.
They do mention it later. Their viewpoint, or like one rabbit's.
Well, right, but it's
which wasn't the correct dialogue even associated with that rabbit in the book.
Oh geez.
We're gonna get serious lore analysis.
Come on, book, get good. Maybe the show's better.
But it's so that's basically paralleled. The fact that we're actually destroying all of the environment. So we are simultaneously the oppressed and the oppressor in the same storyline. That's like the core dynamic of the that I thought made it really cool, honestly. So and then we ford the river like Oregon Trail.
Basically, they because Pipkin and Fiver are too small to swim across because they're not strong enough. Yeah. Blackberry, who's like the brains of the group, basically, he's the Odysseus. It's just like, hey, this thing floats.
Put them on this little plank of wood.
Basically, and pretty then have Bigwig and Silver push them across the river.
Mm-hmm. They almost drown because they're panicking, whatever. But everyone just gets across safely, so we get a little bit of that. Just a little bit of action, I guess. They gotta sprinkle some action in,
it builds
Watership Down. Yeah. When I saw the plank of wood, I immediately went like, "Oh, this is gonna be like a river crossing puzzle. They only take one at a time or whatever." Like, I had that thought for some reason.
River crossing puzzle.
Anyways,
is that a puzzle that I'm supposed to be familiar with or something? Is that like a?
Yeah, I haven't heard of that one. I've heard of the traveling salesman problem.
It's
That's
that
just a common problem in computer science.
I don't know if it's that one, but it's the one where it's like you gotta bring the person over there, but you can't put him with this other person, so you have to go back and take him in separate ways or something like that. It's I don't know. It's fine.
I'll have to talk to Sharon about that one. Anyways, so they cross another field, and Bigwig's like, well, fuck, we're really tired, man. Okay, Pipkin and Fiver, they're even worse. But then Hazel's like, hey, scented plants. They won't be able to smell us there.
Mm-hmm.
And they decide to take a nap there. And then
like a little farm. Yep.
Violet just decides to up and walk out
of the scented plants
out of the scented plants without even looking, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And then just gets swooped
away
by a hawk. And that, I believe, is her only purpose in the film.
Yeah.
Is to set up that just death in this.
Ostensibly, like, because in the book, that doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no Violet exists. It's all like male rabbits that leave. And I don't even think Violet has a speaking role. Like,
nope.
period.
So I wrote this in. I wrote a note in, but it kind of changes knowing that they were in, and it probably just for the scene. But I wrote, "There's no mourning of any kind," which is kind of weird. But also, it's like the movie knows we don't know who the fuck that was, and it was probably not even cute enough for us to sympathize on that level. Definitely just a setup to snap. You can be gone just like that.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I mean, because the thing is I guess you could make the case that they're trying to establish that no does were with them, but aren't you saying that in the book it was just that there were no does with them, and it was that was it?
Yeah, I think the point in the film is just to show, like, hey, there's some stakes.
Right, well, and also that they're not in a place that they understand anymore. They've left and entered wilderness, and there's danger that they aren't familiar with, so they aren't.
They are.
Actually, I would say they are kind of familiar with, though.
Well, they know what it is, but it's not like, I mean, that's not a specific situation they had to deal with where they've
left their warren, and later on they encounter a lot of things they don't quite understand, like a graveyard.
Yeah.
Yep. Right after this is a graveyard.
Yeah.
Or a cemetery. I think I wrote cemetery, but graveyard works too. But they go inside like a catacomb or something?
They're like the same thing, right? I think they go inside like a shed or
something,
like a barn or something, but they spend the night there, and then they're besieged by rats, and then there's a barn owl that also shows up.
And an owl, rabbits versus rats, and there's an owl stage hazard.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, it's the snowballing, unfamiliar territory. Disruption of the ecosystem, which is, I think, a core theme, is that we're chain reaction destroying every bit of nature on the planet by building fucking condos.
Yes. And cemeteries.
Yeah.
Yes. By burying dead people.
The movie just keeps moving forward. But then we don't get like big set pieces. We just get like many tiny ones.
Well, yeah, it's like it's like the Odyssey.
Yeah.
Odyssey,
where it's about encountering something strange or unfamiliar, and how do we solve this problem? And then the second half of the film becomes about one big
stealth
problem.
mission.
Yeah.
An elaborate.
There's three stealth missions.
Yeah. So after they leave the cemetery, I believe it starts raining, and that's when they meet Cowslip.
Very suspicious.
Yeah. Well, they're about to give up. They're like they're tired, and
and it's raining. Oh no.
Yeah. In the book, remember the characters I said that weren't in the film? Like, there are two characters, like Speedwell and Acorn, who weren't in the film, but I believe their expressed purpose, like, as far as I remember, was basically just to be the dissenters.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I mean, once they... there's a point where, their dissensions are quelled and they become, just part of the group. But basically, before they reach... before they find Cowslip, basically they're just the ones that are grumbling about, the journey, about how the hell do you know where we're going? We've just been going from danger to danger to danger, and we don't really seem to have any end goal. And Fiver attempts to, Hazel attempps to, calm them. And then Bigwig just tells them to shut up.
Yeah.
But I think it's more natural with how they do it in the film. I think if they had those characters in, I think it would be a little bit too early to have that kind of dissension.
I don't know. They've probably been in fucking Warren forever. Like, this is probably...
Also, I feel like the time is a bit eschewed in the film with how long they've been traveling, and traveling like miles for a rabbit is a real fucking long way.
Yeah.
So, and the fact that they're pretty much always tired when they're traveling, I think, is also an important factor. But right before, I guess their round robin can be enacted, they meet a weird rabbit. His name's Cowslip. Yep. He's really weird. I remember very in the book they described Cowslip and the other rabbits that Cowslip lives with as being very, very large, very sleek, very shiny.
They just seem kind of old and they seem kind of just old and depressed in the film.
Yeah,
and there aren't very many of them. Yeah.
At all. We'll get into that. The Cowslip's like, "Hey, would you like to join us?" And they're like,
and everyone's like, "I guess, yeah, it's raining, we're tired."
So Fiverr's like, "No."
Yeah, Fiver's like, I don't know
Fiver
about
is
this
not
one,
a fan
guys.
of that because premonitions.
But Hazel, being a centrist, decides to put the halfway point between Fiver and the rest of the group and go suspiciously.
Well, yeah, even Fiver confronts his brother, like saying, what I'm saying is true, and yet you won't do anything about it. And he just kind of dismisses him. Because, again, in the book, the dynamic between Fiver and Hazel is a little bit more fleshed out, but everyone was getting kind of tired with Fiver's, constant talking about finding the next place. Yep. Even Hazel, his own brother.
But also, I mean,
and here it's just
not all of the prophecies.
Here it's just a little bit more understood.
Not all the prophecies are on the same level necessarily. I mean, like it's a pretty serious and explicit one where it's like we all got to evacuate the thing right now. But then it's like I'm already taking your advice by evacuating the thing, and we're already cautious going into this dude's. It's like there's room for different interpretation of. You don't have to listen to everything the Oracle says and treat it with the exact same weight and handle it the exact same way. I guess is what I'm saying. Even though he does turn out to be right, of course he does. That's how stories work. But but just generally speaking.
And even going on that, like Fiver's senses are something that's not necessarily unique to him.
Yeah.
That is something that has been observed in the rabbit community before. Like even in the book when they're talking to the chief rabbit, like after Fiver and Hazel leave, like the chief rabbit's like, I've known some rabbits in my time who were like soothsayers, but really they're just trying to draw attention to themselves.
Well, there's a very light mention to that later in the movie as well, but it's not elaborated upon pretty much at all. It's just like mentioned in one line and then that's it.
Yeah, that's there is another character that possesses Fiver's second sight, which is what I think they call it. But yeah, they join Cowslip in his very unusual warren with its very large antechamber, and they've got lots of flaira.
Lots of fresh food.
It's called flaira.
I'm sorry.
Respect the lore.
I'm sorry. Oh my gosh, you're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's just...
I shouldn't.
Flaira is basically just fancy food. It's just carrots and lettuce, and basically food that comes from a garden that is uncommon to rabbits.
Right.
But not to these rabbits. They've just got roots here every day. And
it's not suspicious. It's very welcoming and friendly.
Again, I hate to cut between the book and the movie so much, but I'll just do it anyway. They set out, the author does a lot more to establish that Cowslip and his warren are fucking weird to Hazel and all of his friends.
Yeah.
Like, for example...
Even weirder!
Well, yeah, because in the movie, they're just sort of like very... I guess, what's the word for it? They're just very
sneaky,
loose.
Suspicious.
They're very loose, and they're just sort of like, yeah, whatever, man. Oh. They're very indirect. They don't answer questions. Like, where's everyone else? Don't worry about it. You can have a hole if you want.
Yeah.
Sleep here.
Yep. And then they're in the hall eating, and then we're getting like this turnaround, and then everyone's just hiding
everyone's looking behind them.
The open
but
holes.
I feel like there's like knowing that the film is a different work and probably has at least slightly different reasons for existing, like slightly different things to say than the original. I think the purpose that Cowslip and his warren serve in the story is established like perfectly.
Oh, right. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
I like the things they establish in the book that I wish that they put in the movie because it's funny to see Hazel and company react to them. Like, for example, you know how they recite, poems about like death and stuff. They do that, but also they have like artwork. Like, there's a point where another rabbit from the Warren, Strawberry, points to like basically like a stone mosaic of El Herrera, and he points it out to I forget who. I think it's like, it's not Hazel. I think it's like Blackberry or Dandelion. Mm-hmm. And he says, "Yes, this is a depiction of El Herrera we've made of him. He is the stones." And then Blackberry's like, "What? That doesn't make any sense. El Herrera is not stones.
You're not supposed to depict them at all, fucker. And now I'm gonna kill you."
Oh.
Like
I see.
No.
Yeah.
This is Islam now?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the
no.
idea.
Rabbit is
another
Islam.
weird thing, just as a side note, Cowslip observes a behavior that is unknown to the rabbits. He laughs.
Wow.
I just thought that was a weird...
I didn't think about that.
Laughter is unknown to the rabbit community.
Interesting. It makes
They
sense,
just
though. Like,
people.
I get a lot from... I think that's one of the most important parts of the whole film is the small cowslip sequence. And this is where I think I'm going to get into the symbolism of Frith, because I feel like it's a good time to... But, like...
Go ahead.
As, the humans stealing all the land and building dumb condos everywhere poses an existential threat to the rabbits, as established. It sort of made me look back at the creation myth and see Frith as not necessarily a sentient being, like literally, but just like in effect the balance of the ecosystem, and like
right,
and its disruption sort of leads the rabbits to question, this or that. And I feel like Cowslip is sort of representative of like fatalistic, who sees everything as futile and just awaits the apocalypse in their warren or what have you, because they're so pious, and their whole thing is about acceptance. Like when they read the poem, and it's like, we're just gonna accept being old and weird down here in these empty mazes with our carrots and such.
Right.
And I guess part of the reason I think that is and I'm not sure if what exactly happens with the whole cowslip thing is explicitly shown in the film. It feels like there's a bit of room of interpretation of what actually goes on, because it's like they're there, and then Bigwig gets caught in the snare, and you don't see them again.
Yes.
And so they just go. And it's like, I don't know. I wondered if it was like they let the rabbits eat the food, and then they let the rabbits run around and get caught in the snare so that they wouldn't be caught in the snare or something. I don't know
that's what I thought.
I'm not
too.
sure what
That's what I thought too.
The idea that I understood, because again, this is slightly more, I guess, pondered upon in the book by the rabbits, but basically, specifically Fiverr, but basically Farmer finds like a rabbit warren on his property, but instead of like killing them off, he basically just eases them to his presence by giving them food and like securing them from other predators and such. And basically, once in a while just puts out snares for them, or just takes one away and just hunts them as basically just like farm animals, Yeah.
Also, population control, because if he's a farmer, I don't know what kind of farmer he is, but if it's vegetables, he can't have that many rabbits.
And so that
he's definitely a veg farmer.
So that's kind of what I was thinking. Like generally, I mean, you explained a lot more specifically than I could, but like generally, and that sort of makes sense, because that would imply that the rabbits in the warren, there might have been a ton of them, and they've just been steadily getting picked off over time.
And the idea that I think is the fact that, they were hoping that Hazel and company would join the warren, so that way
they could get picked off.
They could be, they could get picked off first, and they could at least survive more and be pious and shit.
And that's when it sort of comes out that it's like the idea of there's nothing you can do about it. The futility, the fatalism is just manipulation by the people in power, which is a very human dynamic. It's the people in power preaching that they can't do anything to get a desired result for themselves.
And it's funny you say that because once Bigwig gets out of the snare and once they decide that, yeah, fuck this place, one of the rabbits from Cowslip's Warren actually joins their group, Strawberry, and he's very much repentant
and that
of
only happens in the
of
book,
his actions.
Right?
Yeah, it happens. No, it doesn't happen in the movie.
Right, okay.
This is explicitly in the book, and he becomes somewhat pivotal when they create the Warren. But again, I just thought that was interesting because they just cut out more characters. But Strawberry's not super important to the whole greater plot. I mean, he comes into play somewhat later on when they have to confront the big bad. But and
it's they could have included a bit more for sure, but it's kind of fascinating that they're able to convey that complex of a dynamic that effectively without like having that character in the story. Like because you can pretty much get the picture of what's going on even without that any sort of exposition.
Yeah,
and very quickly.
So eventually,
it's my cat. Can you hear my cat yelling?
A little bit.
I think I heard
God
it.
Damn it.
But it should be fine.
I guess just to summarize real quick. So they meet the suspicious rabbit. The suspicious rabbit was being suspicious, and then Bigwig gets trapped in a snare, and then they free him from it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they think he's dead. But
I thought he was gonna die for real because this movie.
I thought he was gonna die.
Movie's dark, and I was like, "Damn, they're fucking do that." I actually wrote when they thought he was dead. I was like, "Man, you thought Stalker was depressing because that's got nothing on this shit."
Oh God, this is horrible because it's like, how does it go? First, he's trapped in the snare,
and it's a horrific, just extended, like gruesome sequence of
you see the fly start buzzing.
Oh my God, I know.
Eyes buzzing.
Mouth.
He starts bleeding from, I think, his eyes, nose, and in the mouth. More people come, and they're all trying to take up the peg that's holding the snare, and then he's just there lifeless, and then they're like, what do we do now?
Because, and also Fiverr, who goes off, or I think someone goes off and tries to get Cowslip's help, but he's like, nope, I'm not going to help you. Yeah, you guys can just go ahead and die.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys think there's any sort of connection to be made about how the first death that we saw was like off screen with the hawk got a violet, and this one's very on screen, but he's not actually dead? Do you think there's some sort of connection you guys can make there?
Nothing.
I can only think of
that isn't just kind of structural, like because of how important Bigwig is to the plot, and then using that to expand outwards. But no, I don't think so. I mean, I think the violet thing does a good job of demonstrating that concept.
There is death.
Yeah.
I think the importance of Bigwig getting caught in the snare more than anything is the fact that like Bigwig till before they enter Cowslip's Warren has almost had the most shit with Fiverr and his prophecies and such, and
he's also been the most strongest.
Yes, that too. And he, as soon as he's like, "Oh, of course you have to ruin this for everyone," he just runs away and then gets caught in the snare. And it's just sort of this joining moment within the group.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
This very norming moment in the group, if I was to speak in business jargon.
But I also really like the dialogue where they, when they finally get him free and he's like passing out, and they're like, "Come on, we freed you. Get up. You can't die." It's almost like this naive, like childish idea that no, we did it. That means you have to live. This doesn't work.
At that point, because they even say later on, like, how are we going to manage without him? Like, they can't envision their continued survival without the biggest and strongest among them.
And they're right, actually, because later on in the movie, there's stuff that happens. Like, you guys can't do this without Bigwig.
Yeah.
Like, Bigwig almost takes as big a role as Hazel, as like the main character, I think.
Maybe even bigger.
He's definitely up there.
Yeah. So they thought Bigwig's dead, but before we find out he's alive, they do like a rabbit prayer, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sort of like
my heart has joined the 1,000, for my friend stopped running today.
So after this, right after this they go straight to they see the mountain already, right?
Yeah, they see Watership Down, and Fiverr's like, that's where we gotta go. That's the goal.
I see this and I go, oh wait, so it's like, is Noah's Ark 2 gonna happen? Is there gonna be a flood and then only the rabbits are gonna be okay because they're up there? That's just what I thought, because I'm watching this and I'm like, there's like a disaster that's gonna happen, right? But
far more
not
insidious
really, not a
than
natural
that,
disaster.
I mean, there's a disaster of a more political kind.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
But definitely, I did not know there were going to be humans in this movie. Because I'm watching this originally, and then, there's all the memes and stuff about, gonna watch Watership Down with my nephews. Oh no, I made a mistake. Like that bullshit.
I've never even seen one of those
this
in my
movie,
life. But...
I've seen a lot of these memes of like,
I've
because it's
somewhat
animated,
seen them.
but it's not. Yeah, because this movie was rated U in Europe or UK.
Yeah, and it was PG over here,
like
and I feel like if it came out when PG-13 existed,
it'd probably be like PG-13.
If the MPAA had any sort of consistency, which it doesn't, by the way, then it probably would have been a PG-13.
No. Someone should add that.
But the fact that it's animated probably would keep it from getting
the
that.
MPAA? That's a movie?
No, the movie called This Is Not Yet Rated. This film is not yet rated.
Oh, the documentary you were talking about.
Yeah.
It's rough.
But anyways.
Yeah.
Anyways, so on the way to Watership Down.
Pass by a house. Or a farm, another farm.
Yes, the Nuthanger farm. Yep. And Hazel takes Pipkin. And in the book, he goes, like the author goes into a bit of Hazel's internal narrative here. The reason why he takes Pipkin is because he just wants someone to listen to him and just not argue with him. Pipkin is very, very earnest, very trusting.
I think that's still very here.
Why.
Yeah, I think that's still very here if you really think about it. Just sort of his viewpoint, or like if you're when you're familiar with the characters at this point already, it's still there. That's for sure.
He's a born leader, Hazel, and it comes out over the course of the film.
Yes, definitely.
Oh, and we the thing already happened where he said the line about when they were crossing the river. He's like, "We all got into this together. We'll all get out of this together." Because Bigwig is ready to just sacrifice some motherfucker.
He's like, everyone that can swim, get across. Everyone else find another way around.
Anyone who can swim across will swim across. Everyone else will just have to fend for themselves.
Yep.
Because that was still very early on in the film when, before Bigwig's character develops, he's just sort of...
Yeah.
He's still very much his very simple self, his very simple-minded self about self-preservation and survival. And if you're not strong, well,
there's a
I'm not going to kill you, but you're going to die. You're going to die because a Lendry is going to get you.
He's alpha
or a Humba.
So they're gonna. Why are they sneaking into the house?
So in the film, it's a little different because they actually sneak into the farm in the book after they get to Watership Down and after they have a realization. Yes. Because in the movie, like, I think the idea is just that they want more people with them. And maybe you can interpret the fact that Hazel was foreseeing the problem of, hey, there's no women in our group at this point early on. But basically Hazel and Pipkin go inside of the farm and they try to free, like, a group of hutch rabbits.
Yeah.
And,
they don't... Hot tail. With those girl eyebrows. That's how you know it's a girl rabbit, because it says the girl eyebrows.
I mean, it's something, okay? Yeah. It's something.
No, I'm not disagreeing. I'm just like, yo, them eyes.
No, I appreciate it, because
I
hate, I got a lot of issues with The Lion King, and I'm not going to get into it, but the fact that they make that female lion, so attractive in a human way is fucking creepy, dude. Baby. It makes me feel weird. It makes me feel weirder than Lola Bunny, and that already makes me feel weird.
I'm really curious how they do that for the new movie, but... So they're going to the rabbits, and actually I wasn't thinking about, they're gonna need girl rabbits when they get to their place. I was actually thinking Hazel, you horn dog.
Yeah.
I thought he just wanted to fuck them. And then that brings me back to, they're just like their god rabbit.
Oh yeah.
They just don't
They've got to be horned up all the time.
Obviously, yeah.
So that's...
like self-preservation in all senses.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So they're gonna try to break them out, or they want to plan to it. But then now we got a cat. Yeah, and then we got a cat, and then there's also... I don't know if the dog is here, but there's also the dog that they have to sneak by.
The dog,
so we already have the two threats, aside from the humans.
Two of the LA, as they would say.
It's like fighting two Dark Souls bosses that are supposed to be separate at the same time.
You're fighting Sif and that crazy cat that you find in the Forest Covenant.
Who does talk, actually.
Nice.
It said something.
I think... Yeah. No, the cat does. It is weird because the cat can seemingly communicate with the exact same language and everything.
But the dog can't.
Or doesn't. It's not really clear
it's
if
fucking
you
Disney
can
rules.
or not.
It's Disney rules, I swear.
This goes into a much larger discussion that I could speculate in the book, at the fact that the myth, like the Lapin language, isn't necessarily their own, but rather just a communicative language that's shared by animals, but they just speak in different dialects.
Oh, so they it's possible that they would understand some things, but and not others.
They internalize it as being a language of their own,
right? Yeah,
you know, just much like any species would, and that's kind of why in the book they talk to, you know, a lot of other animals like mice and like other birds and stuff, and they sort of speak in the same kind of broken English that Kihar does.
There's another
right. Well, because that's where my question came from. Was it seemed like they were trying to navigate some kind of a language barrier when they first meet the black-faced bird.
Yeah, I felt that too. But then the other animal, the bird later on that we get introduced to, was speaking in like almost like Italian or something. So I definitely got the whole like, oh, okay, so they sort of understand each other, but since we're with the rabbits, we can only understand the rabbits perfectly. That's what I felt like.
Because we're being, it's from their perspective. Right. We understand them fine, but Kihar's a little bit different. But yeah, they they get chased away. Later on, as they're continuing to Watership Down. Again, another event that doesn't happen until they reach Watership Down. They find, who is it? It's Captain Holly.
All beaten up, scarred up.
Told you, motherfucker. Yes. Try to tell your dumbass.
He's very scarred up.
Yeah, exactly. That's all I could think about.
Yeah. And he basically confirms that, shit got real. Real. And in the book, it's actually a little bit more fucked up because it's not. They didn't just fill in the holes in the book. They filled in some of the holes. They put poison gas down the other holes to them out.
They did. That's in the movie.
In the movie.
Well, in the movie, I think what happens is the holes get blocked up. Like they just block all the holes, and like they just get suffocated. You know?
No, they spray.
Yeah, but
gas.
there was a drawing of gas.
Yeah, it was.
But they didn't mention it. But there's like
because it was like the rabbits talking about the gas from their perspective because they don't know what it is, and they're like there was a weird like.
Well, yeah, they say it's bad air,
right? Which to me, it was pretty clear to me that it was like pesticide or whatever being pumped in. But I guess I don't know
When Captain Holly's talking about it, we cut to another one of those kind of dreamlike sequences. Rabbits in burrows, and they sort of converge into one, and then you see them going up. Yeah, because the camera changes a little bit, and then they're all trying to escape through one hole.
Which is so horrifying. So fucking terrifying.
They cut to a side view of the same sort of thing, and it's even more clear what we're seeing.
It's so
bad. Oh my god!
Yes.
Their eyes bulge out.
And they're talking about dead bodies piling up like the fucking Triangle Shirtwaist fire with the rabbit. It's brutal, man.
Again, you think that's bad. In the book, they wait for the rabbits to run out, and then they have a kid with them, like the humans. They have a kid with them, and he just shoots them, and then they put the rabbits on a stick. They just skewer them. Like, they didn't even attempt to skin them. They just skewer them.
Jesus.
They just pull them away. And also, in the book, Captain Holly has another rabbit with him, another rabbit that is cut out of the film, Bluebell, but I figured I'd mention it. And something else that's implied that happened to Captain Holly in the movie is, after he has his spat and he just kind of collapses back into sleep, is we're given a little shot of Ephrafa, which is a place that will be important a little later in the film.
It's really confusing when that first happened because he says the name and they're like, "What's that?" And it's like, "Let him sleep," and then it's just a shot of just this place that we have no idea what it is or who any of these rabbits are.
It's a very crowded warren that's in a field of vegetables, and we see
only close-ups of the eyes and talking and stuff.
We see one rabbit get the fuck beaten out of him. And who we meet later in the film, and then we see another rabbit, Heisenthale, speak with General Woundwort, which, Jesus Christ, that's the most villain name for a rabbit.
He's the most villain appearance. Like guy's actually a Dark Souls boss.
Very scarred, and then I wrote that in actually later on when he's fighting. He's scarred up, and he's like one left eye is like
just
white,
so fucking evil, dude.
And all the rabbits in this burrow have like
blue
green
eyes.
Green blue eyes, yeah.
I thought that was a very good distinction, because if they all had the same color eyes, then it would be very
I
hard
do
to
kind
tell.
of wish there was a lore explanation for it, though. But I do think it was
for why they have different eyes.
Yeah, like
probably in the book.
Some other.
Maybe because of
I'm sure it's in the book.
Like
if the blue eyes is part of the book, I'm sure there's an explanation for it.
I don't remember blue eyes being important.
Well, because you don't need them.
Inbreeding, inbreeding isn't the problem. The problem is the fact that they're overcrowded, and the fact that like it's basically a military state. But again, that's established later on. But something I want to comment on right here. So it's a bit of a weird. I don't want to say inconsistency, but just like a weird. Yeah, I guess it is an inconsistency between the book and the film. Because in the book, they do find Captain Holly, but he didn't visit Ephrafa. He visited Cowslip's Warren. And he mentions Hazel, and they basically just start attacking him. But Captain Holly's like, even though they're really big and they look kind of strong, they suck at fighting. So I was able to get away.
So that's probably because...
Is that where his damage came from? Or was that from the Warren?
Well, in the book, I mean, he's just tired because he had been running for days and he had suffered a lot of the similar things that Hazel's group had been, but he had been kind of taking most of the brunt of it.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because that was probably done because Cowslip is a more like complicated threat, like, and it would probably make a lot more sense for a movie that if any kids are going to see it, for an easy villain like the Ephraphans to be established early on.
Mm-hmm. Also, screen time, I guess.
Yeah, right.
That might also be a factor. So, Ephrafa is further, like, east of Watership Down.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know how the fuck he managed to get all the way to Ephrafa and then loop back to the Nut Hanger farm and meet Hazel.
I didn't think about that, but that's kind of sketchy now that you raise the question.
There's got to be a rabbit lore explanation for this.
Well, no, there isn't, because the rabbit lore source has a better development where he goes to Cowslip, which makes sense because he would imitate the journey that we've taken.
Yes, he encounters many of the similar threats that Hazel does, and and it isn't until much later, once they have their warren established at Watership Down, that they send Holly out to infiltrate Ephrafa. And that's when they get the info, the lowdown.
Right, okay.
Stuff. So.
But now they are, so after all the introduction of these soon-to-be big menace rabbits, now we're finally at the Watership Down, and it's just perfect there.
Almost.
Chilling.
It's a very high place. The sands,
no boon.
There's light and dry.
Everything but puss.
There's a beech tree.
Everything but the most important thing, baby.
The weirdest thing to me is the fact that there was already a rabbit warren there. Because in the book there's just some holes. I do remember that. In the book they find some holes, but it's not a complete warren. They actually have to get Strawberry to consult as an architect.
That makes me speculate about.
I did think about that. Is it possible that the bad guy rabbits kind of fuck those people over? Something like that?
I guess. But why wouldn't have they taken over the much better area?
Because General's cocky.
Maybe, yeah.
General doesn't give a fuck.
I mean, again, pointing to the book, if we want to talk about Woundwork's backstory, which is something else, let me tell you. He was born, I believe, the biggest of a litter, and his father got shot and his mother got killed by a fox or something. He got taken away by a professor, and he basically got dark-sided, if you understand what that means. Where
experimented on?
Well, not necessarily experimented on, but he basically just got inundated to hate his most of his life. Because the professor had a cat, and the cat would fuck with him all the time. And eventually, when Woundwork was big enough, he just decided, okay, this cat's going to die.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't kill the cat. He just severely maims it. I believe he tears the tendons out of its legs.
Ooh. Rabbit lore.
And he eventually leaves the professor and he just conquers other warrens and just unites them all under his rule like a fucking Genghis Khan motherfucker.
Very much Sith Lord.
That's cool. Okay,
character.
now I like him a little bit more now, to be honest.
Yeah. He's a fucking badass in his own way. So, anyways, I was skipping ahead a bit.
Where's our Total War Watership Down game?
That would be so
man.
fucking cool, dude. No, it's just like...
There's a tabletop game.
Yeah.
There's a tabletop game, Bunnies and Burrows.
Oh my gosh, really?
That would be so fucking... Because it's just like... It's just like you're at a normal distance from the ground.
Dunk's in. I got Dunk in. Dunk invested my new 5X game.
That's so cool.
4X, whatever they're called.
I would be so into that, dude.
So, yeah, they find Watership Down, and it's great. Frith on the Hills, he made it all for us.
They're really fucking horny,
but
though.
Fiverr found
it has been a long time since they got some rabbit.
But before they get some rabbit poo, an injured bird comes in.
Blackface bird.
Yes, Kihar, who we mentioned earlier. The blackface bird, really?
Well, it's something about the fact that his face is black like that, and he's got like just kind of a generalized foreigner accent, and he's supposed to just be like
Super
an exotic
accent.
outsider character. I mean,
he's just like, no, help.
I mean, it just reminded me. It just reminded me of
like
the ape in Lion King, where it's like, okay, come on, guys, really. Like the literal ape sounds. No,
Rosie O'Donnell ape.
I'm not.
No, not in. That's Tarzan.
Yeah,
I think.
Lion King.
Yeah, Lion King.
I don't remember an ape in Lion King.
Wasn't it an ape?
Well, there's the baboon.
Yeah, that guy, and he's the only one that has
Rafiki.
like a kind of a foreign sounding accent of any kind,
like an African
right?
accent.
And he's the literal ape, and it's
Matthew
like,
Broderick.
come on, are you serious?
Yeah,
like,
but don't forget the hyena. The retarded hyena who had just a cross-eye.
Well, yeah, there was Whoopi Goldberg. But anyways.
Was that Whoopi Goldberg? Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, she was one
Injured
of the
bird.
hyenas.
Injured bird. These nice... Kihar?
Kihar, yes.
Kihar,
that is his name because, according to him, that is the sound the waves make as they hit the beach in his language.
Yeah, because he's like a water... He's a seabird,
from Big
right?
Water.
He's a
That's his hometown.
He's a seagull,
Big
yes.
Water. Seagull.
I believe the technical species is a black-headed seagull.
Nice.
So you might as well say black-faced seagull.
What's their god's name?
What's their god's name? Big Water.
It's just
but yeah,
he goes to the zone.
Hazel wants to help him, right? Everyone wants to help him.
because Hazel, he's just like, he's not our enemy. You might as well make him our friend. Because I mean, having a bird is immensely helpful, and eye in the sky is something that we don't have.
I can't figure out if Kihar is an incredibly dense and well-written character or an incredibly shallow and poorly written character, because he just.
Would you say it's because of his voice?
No, it's not even to do with that. Just in terms of like his motivations seem either really complex or really inconsistent. So I don't know which of those things
I can feel
would
that.
go with.
Again, fleshed out in the book.
I'm sure, yeah.
He basically becomes friends with them over a longer period of time, specifically Bigwig. He just kind of Bigwig just kind of hangs out with Kihar and like talks with him a lot. Chats them up.
Because they both have big dick energy, so they get along with each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So once Kihar is healed up, they decide, hey, why don't you go out and like search for shit for us? You know? Just go look for some female rabbits. And he's like, I do that plenty soon. Mm-hmm. And then he does.
It was Kihar's idea, wasn't it? He was in the burrow, and he's like, "Where girls? No, it's not burrow without girls."
I think it was a weird, like, Inception thing, because they were talking about using the bird to find does, and then it's almost like they tried to let the bird have the idea on his own or something.
Yes, that is. Even in the book, that's basically what happens. They trick him. I don't want to say they trick him. They just basically let him think that it was his idea.
Because then he'll be more on board with it.
Because
he's like, got an ego. Yeah, that's actually pretty clever writing now that I think about it. Should give him more credit for that.
Yes.
Yeah, agreed.
So,
they're smart bunnies. They're very smart.
Mm-hmm.
So they want Kihar to find birds. Even they want Kihar to find does, even though they already know where the does are or where does are.
Well, yeah, but that's like. I mean, a suicide mission, wouldn't it? That would be crazy to try and assault the farm to free the female rabbit.
Crazy enough for Hazel to do?
Yeah. Okay, so is there like a season shift at this point? Like, is there like a whole, like, few months that passes, or was that just me being stupid?
I think that's just you. I wouldn't say you're being stupid. I'm not going to make that call. I'm not a psychologist.
Yeah.
I diagnose you with being stupid.
I diagnose you with dumb. But yeah,
dumb.
Later that night they attempt to break them out again. They almost get there. They almost do it.
Yeah,
but they fail, and Hazel gets shot in the leg.
Okay, and these fucking farmers who like Oh no, it's rabbits that aren't ours. Kill them. Shoot them with your lead. And I realized that that's probably what farmers would actually do, but it's like, it's really fucked up when you break it down, that like a harmless herbivore, your first instinct is...
I think that's an interesting perspective shift for me, because it's like, we spend the whole film with these rabbits, and we humanize them, and we sympathize with them in our way, and we get to the point where when we cut to the humans talking, it's like,
cut to us.
We're disgusting.
Like, wow.
Yeah.
We're horrible.
It's again being the oppressor and the oppressed, which is a good method of, analyzing our
It's like Fantastic Planet
on the environment. Yeah.
Also good movie.
Except way less horrifying. Maybe?
And
I don't know.
Easier to understand.
Yes.
So
French.
Hazel and friends break out all the girl rabbits, but Hazel's the one that gets shot and left behind, right?
I don't think they break out. Like, the rabbits are still there.
Yeah.
Oh, they are?
Because they break out of the cage, but then they're caught by the
Yes, the farmer catches them, and they're basically scared back into submission, but Hazel gets shot, and Dandelion and Blackberry run back, and they tell Fiverr, well, Hazel's been shot.
And then Fiverr goes on a fucking trippy...
Oh, yeah.
Fiverr sees the black rabbit. Yeah. Fiverr sees literal god of death. Figurative, possibly.
He has a whole, Apocalypse Now journey into his own
it is, isn't
darkness.
That's so true.
It's awesome. And the fucking Art Garfunkel song plays during that sequence. Which I have mixed feelings about, but I appreciate its inclusion, ultimately. So
that's the only,
but it turns out Hazel,
I appreciate the fact that that's the only, song sequence in the film.
Yeah. Well, that's almost what bugs me about it, because the soundtrack is I don't know if it's anything particularly outstanding, but it works, and it works well, and I like it. And when, you bring in the vocals, it's almost
good orchestral stuff.
It's almost like a level of breaking the fourth wall that I didn't really want in the film.
It's definitely like a 70s move.
Yeah, for sure.
Like that.
Maybe just for star power or to get a song on the charts or something,
Yeah, definitely.
They already have a John Hurt as Hazel.
Was John Hurt a big star? I really don't know.
I mean, in British acting, he was, not so much in America. And this was a very British film.
Who would he be comparable to, nowadays?
That's
nowadays?
A very hard question to answer.
For a young
That is a very
actor.
hard question.
Is it? I'm sorry.
Well, it's just, there's so many layers to it,
Is there?
He's like Arnold Schwarzenegger. There you go.
Nice, dude.
I know Arnold. Wow!
I'm familiar with that actor. Yeah.
I liked you in Doctor Who.
I think he's more like Lou Ferrigno myself.
Anyway, so...
But Hazel turns up, right?
Hazel is alive, yes.
Hazel's
alive. They do
alive.
find him, because he's just shot in the leg, thankfully.
And they extract the bullets so delicately with the beak of the big seagull.
Oh, dude, I had, I had this really fucked up thought during that sequence, because, the bird looks like he's in blackface, right? And then he's pulling the bullets out, and it looks like
I know what you're
it looks
say.
like Sambo spitting the watermelon seeds out, dude.
Oh, Jesus.
And I was and I had a moment where I'm like, am I the racist?
What the fuck?
Am I the racist, or is the world, or both of us racist? I don't know anymore.
Is evolution the racist for creating a blackface bird?
So the bird's extracting it, and I noticed he's just taking it out, and Hazel's really okay. So I'm like, was it just birdshot that he got shot with? Was it actually proper shotgun shells? Come on.
It could be that Hazel's toughing it out. It could just be they didn't want to animate him twitching. I have no idea.
Yeah.
He's just picking it out. His leg is probably already numb at that point, from all the pain. So, if
it was birdshot, that could have been quite the not irony, but fun little thing there.
Well, what is birdshot? I'm not sure I know what that is.
Birdshot is what you shoot. You know how you're hunting birds? Ducks fly out, you shoot duck hunt?
Yeah.
That's what you shoot them with, because it doesn't do as much damage, but it's enough to basically kill
Very
them.
Descriptive.
Well, why would you...
As opposed to a buckshot or a slug.
Why...
Because a slug is just a single bullet, and buckshot has a way wider spread.
You don't want to destroy the body of the bird.
Yeah, you don't want to eviscerate the meat.
Right.
Yeah, you shoot turkeys with it, that type of thing.
That makes sense. That would make more sense why they were willing to shoot the rabbit, I guess, slightly. Yeah. But I don't know if they I don't know if they would have brought out the bird shot if they heard something fucking around in their barn at night as the weapon used.
Actually, here's another thought. This is set in the 70s, and they're still shooting rabbits. Is that? I don't know. Is that weird?
It's probably literally just
area. Well, I mean, this is rural England.
Yeah.
So.
It is.
But it's probably firstly, they don't care about the rabbits. And secondly, if there's anything that might eat their carrots, then fuck it. It'll die. That's probably all it is.
Okay.
Also, this is kind of meant to be like ambiguous in its time period, so it could be earlier than the 70s.
Yeah.
We skipped over. Yeah, but we skipped over the part where we have roads and we do have fast cars because we skipped over the part where
that
they
was a little aside. Yes.
Which I thought would come into play later. But
no, I really like that sequence though because it's like when I don't remember who exactly it is, but it's like, no, look, they don't care.
Bigwig, it's
and
Bigwig.
And he sits right next, and then like another car comes up behind him, and he freaks out and runs out of the.
Because he didn't see it.
Right, but that's a great sequence because it's like they're right about what they think they understand about the human cars, but it's still utterly unpredictable and doesn't play by the same ecosystem rules.
But yeah, after Hazel is resuscitated, now we're fully introduced to the evil rabbit gang.
Yeah, because Kihar tells them that he found Ephrafa.
Yes.
And he's like, many women.
Yeah.
Good doors. And then Captain Holly's like, yeah, you don't want to go there.
It sucks. Bad place. Major ass.
It's really terrible.
Yeah.
And it's a horrible totalitarian state ruled by the Genghis Khan of rabbits.
Where they mark people with like scars. And a rabbit could only escape with the help of another rabbit girl gets captured, and he could escape. But he was getting chased, and then that rabbit chasing him got squished by a fucking train.
Yes.
Well, you just kind of like skipped.
I'm sorry. Yeah, no. Sprinkle in the details, please.
I mean,
I remember the worst details.
That's a great sequence though, because they attribute it to divine intervention.
To Frith.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Frith sent one of his great messengers because it goes so fast they don't even know it's like a hru-do-do.
Yeah, that's how senseless our existence is as humans. It's all divine miracles and plagues.
But they were not rabbits though.
To them, yeah.
Just cut them down.
Yeah, Ephrafa's trash, dude. It's like I guess it's like North Korea.
It used to be good.
It's like rabbit.
It was like several other Warrens before it got united all under Woundwort.
But I also like I don't know how intentional this was, but it's like at the beginning of the film, there's an establishment that the Warren they started at kind of sucks a little bit. Like, because the Ausla come and just take their fucking food, and they're like, well, it's ours now. And then, the leadership is also incompetent and fat and sitting in the... But then this is just like that exponential. Like,
essentially, yes, because there's a small sequence in the start of the film where they find a cowslip, which is a real plant, and it's apparently like a delicacy amongst the rabbits.
Mm-hmm.
And then a fella named Toadflax shows up and is like, cowslips for Alza, you fucking dickhead.
Yeah.
But Fiverr found it. Well, you're not big and strong like us.
Authoritarianism.
Well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, to a much lesser degree. Mm. But a logical conclusion, if their current leader wasn't as incompetent as he was.
Right, or...
if there was a Woundwort in that place... would have been way worse.
Or if conditions worsened to the point that efficiency was prioritized over all else.
Right.
Which I think is the idea.
Which is kind of... yeah, that's basically what happens in the book, is like it's really unorganized because Woundwort basically just goes out and kills people partially just because he likes it, because he's a horrible psychopath, and also because, hey, big money bitches. And he eventually realizes, well, I can't keep all these under control normally. I'll just have to strictly enforce this now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And obsessed with power to the degree that he would sacrifice his own people and parts of his own empire in the face of clear danger instead of like sending off, God, I can't remember the rabbit's name. Help me out here.
Heisenthale.
Yeah, off to establish a secondary, government somewhere else.
I believe Heisenthale literally means like dew on the morning grass.
That's awesome.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's what my name means. Because 420 blaze it, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
I thought it meant you're good at basketball.
Oh, I see. Chaos spherical.
Yeah.
Where are we at? Jesus.
So, before we got totally sidetracked, basically, the group decides to head towards Ephrafa to sort of just make like an initial check. They have Kihar in tow. And
yeah, but it's also that they must be horny, because it's like the horniness is portrayed, I guess, because it's kids are supposed to be able to watch it.
mean,
it's portrayed as, well, how are we going to reproduce and continue the species? And it's like, okay,
how are we going to keep the
that's
birds?
an abstract issue that you don't actually care about. What you want is to get laid, is to get rabbit laid.
Yeah. Well, that's something that's that's something that's kind of interesting, at least to me, because going back to the book, the way that a lot of the rabbits sort of interpret sex is just sort of very like, let us have sex to continue the life of our species. But then we cut to a little later when Woundwort is talking to Bigwig, and he's like, yeah, if you want wives, we've got plenty of those,
take
lying around.
Make your choice.
And it's I think it's an interesting sort of allusion to, at the beginning of the film, I think is probably maybe one of the reasons why they included it is, at the beginning of the film, oh, hey, what happened? El is just letting all of his people just everywhere. He didn't really care. It's just so many of them. And Frith struck back. And hey, Woundwort's got a shit ton of people.
Oh, yeah.
It's
another way that the balance has been uprooted and destroyed, but from like a different angle. Yeah, that's interesting. I like that.
Yeah. So basically, while they're trying to scout it out, basically they sort of get ousted because one of the outer patrols catches them.
Patrols catch them, yeah.
And so the rest of the group leaves, and they make small plans to reconvene at some point for Kihar to meet with Bigwig. Bigwig meets up with Woundwort. He's like, I want to join Ephrafa.
And we're straight up Metal Gear Rabbit from basically here until the end of the movie.
That's exactly what I have here too. Yeah.
So
Metal Gear Rabbit.
I mean, like, it's like you gotta Bigwig, you gotta equip the AKS-74U, or they're gonna know that you're not a real soldier. Oh fuck, Soy hasn't even played MGS2, so alright, never mind.
I don't think he has. His loss. Well, yeah, we got the patrols. Bigwig's big scheming.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then I think, and then Bigwig's trying to get the trust of the general, right? Or is that later?
Yes, he is trying to. He's just trying to be like unassuming. Yeah. He's like, well, I want to join Ephrafa. I mean, I'm surprised you'd ask why I'd want to join. You guys are fucking cool. Really like you guys. I'm big and I'm strong.
It's fairly vague, suspicious answers to questions that seem very important that you need to get a very good answer from. But
I mean,
I don't know. He does a pretty good job of it, I think.
And Woundwort,
but it's just so suspicious.
It is.
Like, come on.
Well, yeah, Woundwort was suspecting him, all along, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Just always on the fringe.
So then back outside though, Hazel.
That's why he's given just a post under like the outer patrols.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So back outside, Hazel and the bird. I keep forgetting his name.
Kihar.
The Kihar.
Just remember the sounds of the waves.
Kihar screams.
Sounds just like that.
Kihar screams the one sentence that I remember him saying. There's another one too, but like this is the only one where I'm like, oh, that he's saying words. He goes. Hazel goes, what's this? And Kihar goes, "Is boat. Man make them so they go on the water."
Yeah, it's great. It's true.
Yep.
He's dropping knowledge.
I went, oh fuck. I went, oh fuck. It's the Watership and it's gonna go down. That's all I could think about. I keep thinking, no, I know it's awful, but I go, oh no, they're gonna get on that and it's gonna sink, and that's gonna be a very sad.
Yes, because all titles are incredibly literal.
I love that.
I'm sorry.
I love that lens. Have that lens for literally every movie that we do. Just be like, you should have been doing Stalker, and then they're being followed by a mysterious figure in the shadows.
Yes, they're being almost stalked.
That's a great bit.
You remember that part in Pumping Iron when Arnold Schwarzenegger injects he literally injects like molten like iron into his blood.
No, but I remember the part at the blacksmith where they were trying to.
Oh yeah, right. When they were making the weights, they're actually making the weights that are going to lift.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, and Bigwig manages to talk to Holly.
No, I don't think
No, sorry, not Holly.
It's Blackavar.
Thank you, Black.
There's another rabbit whose ears got really fucked up.
He's
way
just,
worse than Holly.
In general, that dude's fucked up. Like he's struggling.
Yeah, he really got fucked.
But yeah, Bigwig's talking to the one girl rabbit who gets criticized or whatever by the general
essentially,
on,
but also successful.
When you first see them, busted.
Say it with me. Heisenflay.
Dude, I still fuck it up. Yeah, Thal is what came to my brain. All right. Heisenflay.
But yeah,
Heisenflay.
So Bigwig's, I think they're outside in the field, and then Bigwig's just like, hey, do you know the rabbit Holly? We got a thing. And then she's like,
we're gonna break you out.
She's looking around. She's like,
dude,
I don't know what you're talking about, mister.
This is, like, I was so anxious during the scene. I don't know why I got this anxious over a fucking cartoon rabbit movie, but the way she keep looking around, I'm like, dude, they're about to come out of the fucking bushes and get his ass right now. It's about to happen now.
They were zoomed out, and there's like bushes in the foreground, and I just keep thinking, oh, they're gonna pull back, and there's rabbits in the bushes.
It's perfect to make you think that like every second they're about to just fly out of the. Yeah, it's awesome.
So good.
Yeah,
But yeah, eventually she gets convinced, I think, and then now she's gonna try to gather rabbits that want to escape.
Well, yes, she gets convinced because she, much like Fiverr, is kind of in possession of
that's when it's mentioned.
The second sight.
Yeah. He talks to her, and then she goes every second. I don't remember what she says, but it's like I feel like everything I'm gonna do is like the wrong mistake or something like that. I really don't remember. I'm butchering it, but. Bigwig does say that you should meet a friend of mine, and I go, oh, they're gonna romance probably.
There's no time for that.
I don't remember who Heisenflay kind of ends up with in the book. I don't remember. As we get to the end, it gets kind of fuzzy.
Yeah, fuzzy.
But yes, where are we? Fuzzy. I hope that Watership doesn't go down because then they can't get together.
Don't turn rabid before the stream.
Fuck you! Oh, come on, dude.
Okay, where are we at? Big Boss finds out the suspicious activity and confronts Bigwig.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I put that in.
Mother Ephrafa.
Mm-hmm. And this is when I really noticed that the general really looks like a bad guy. Yeah. That's when I really noticed it here because I think it's the most time we've seen him on screen. I think.
So and of course the people who want to leave Ephrafa is just everyone. It's like North Korea. It's like who wants to leave? Much. And it's like what? Yeah. What do you mean who wants to leave?
Because they're all suffering, like except for the Owlsla,
right?
Who actually have the power.
So it's amazing that Boss was able to get his staff morale that low when he's never even left Mother Base.
He doesn't beat up his soldiers enough. Actually, he does. What am I talking about?
So he's in the dark on this one too. I'm guessing that's fine.
I know he is.
Somewhat. I'm familiar a little bit with the MGS lore.
So now it's time for the escape, right? It's the big escape now.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? So you already know all the lore. Bigwig be scrapping. This is the part where there's the two soldiers holding up in the burrow, and Bigwig comes up and he's like, Look over there, and you see the people his followers escaping, and the guy goes, "What the hell?" And then he beats him up, but then the other rabbit's still safe, and I'm like, "Oh no, he's gonna come after them!" But then the other guard rabbit escapes with them. I'm like, "Oh, they got me," because they all look the same.
They got me because I'm rabbit racist. So I fell for it. Yeah,
I'm rabbit racist.
I love that he stuffs the guy in the burrow like a nerd in a locker in high school. It's just like get in there, you fucking. Yep.
Beats him up. He's probably knocked out in there, and then you get reinforced of Bigwig's kind of a badass.
Oh yeah,
even though he's kind of he's probably not a selfish anymore, but he's a badass for sure.
He definitely his character definitely develops to be.
And right now Hazel's kind of out of the picture because I think Hazel's still recovering from the thing. So I think Bigwig's just kind of strong-arming the story at the moment.
Well, yeah, because Hazel's still dealing from the whole gunshot thing.
He'll be back.
Hazel has his own
gunshot thing.
Hazel has his own importance to the story later.
Later, for sure.
After the heist. Because
pretty much,
once Bigwig deals with the guard and the other guard alerts Woundwort that people are just fucking booking it.
Because Woodworth was specifically like, follow him.
Yeah.
Like after he gets confronted, he's like, follow him. So this is the follow-up.
Man, he must feel dumb as fuck that he was suspicious the entire time, and it just they didn't succeed at all in stopping this from happening. They completely failed.
Well, that's overconfidence for you. Yeah. That's overconfidence, especially when they confront them under the bridge when it starts raining. It's just like, come on, give up. You've got nothing on your side. And then suddenly, bird! Attack!
Bird!
And that upsets them a lot.
I was also really...
The rabbits make a break for it.
I was also really fucking anxious when the bird was on the railroad tracks because I thought it was going to be a thing where then the bird gets hit with the railroad and it's like, frith giveth, frith taketh away kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And that was freaking me out.
This whole chase sequence this is super tense here.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it is, but the weather reflects what's happening. It becomes all thundery and lightning. Music goes up. And then their voices are very voice direction was doing really well here. But I was taken off every time the music's loud and then goes down, just so that people can talk and you can hear them. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but the music would very noticeably go down a bunch of decibels.
I noticed that, but I mean, I didn't have a problem with it.
I accept that the music isn't happening in universe, so it doesn't really bug me.
I can also accept the fact that we're able to hear these characters talking.
Yeah. So they they
all make it to the boat.
Trap. They make it to the boat. Oh no! I put hates the Watership. Oh no! That's what I put.
My God.
Stupid ass.
I love this like 2001 sequence where I don't even know if you guys have seen that, but like, you know, where like one tribe of apes learns to use the bone and the other tribe's like, fuck, they have bones. What are we gonna do? There's nothing to do about it.
Yeah.
And it's like this group of rabbits is like has a boat and the other group is like, what? How? But river? How did? What?
This is also the part where the general.
How are you on there? You're not sinking.
They talk about that later. It's awesome. They talk about that later. But the general says, "I trusted you, Bigwig." Like, okay, yeah, bud. Sure you did. Because that's when General was trying to convince him before Bigwig and company jump onto the boat.
If he's telling the truth, he's stupid. If he's lying, why even say it? I don't know. I don't know what the deal is.
Woundwort is not the smartest. He's very shrewd, but he's not very smart.
Right.
So the Watership gets the Watership.
Oof.
Seagull's leaving, flying up to the moon. He goes, "I go to Big Water."
Yeah.
Big Water.
The Big Water. Yeah. Flies to the moon, which you say, remember you said the moon represents like death?
Well, to the rabbits. I don't know what Keyhawk thinks about it.
Yeah,
I think he's alright.
If we're as the rabbits and we're looking at Seagull flying to the moon, that Seagull's got to be rabbit dead, rabbit lore dead.
I mean, I believe he comes back later in the book, but in the movie, I think that's just the end for him.
It's just the ending, yeah.
Because he just goes back, and in the show, he actually comes back too.
Oh, you watched the show?
Not really. I'm just aware of it, and I'm aware of several things. Like, for example, John Hurt voices Hazel, main character in this. But in the TV show, he voices General Woundwort.
Ooh, that's cool. That's always
actually
nice.
I hate that kind of thing. Drives me fucking crazy.
Oh, really?
I mean, well, if he does a good job, then I don't really care. I'll get used to it. But like, if you have the choice, with casting, I'd rather just generally. But then you get into a complicated thing where it's like maybe someone can do the original voice better than the old guy who did it. I don't know, dude. It's complicated.
I'm not sure.
We're gonna have to get into it.
I'm not sure why he chose to accept that role as opposed to his original one. Maybe he just wanted to give someone else a chance.
That must have been one of his last roles, right?
Well, this was in like the 90s. No,
I'm talking about the. I thought you meant the new.
No, I mean that animated TV show from the 90s.
Okay, my bad. My bad. Sorry.
No.
Yeah, it came on right after Evangelion.
Of course, yes, it's exactly the same. It's hard to tell the difference, really.
That's quite the 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
It's like watching Totoro, and then right after it's Grave of the Fireflies.
Oh Jesus!
So bad rabbits. So they're all there, but turns out, nope. Hey, we're not done yet.
Well, yeah,
General's still coming for you.
Well, yeah, all the escaped rabbits make it back to Watership Down, and then the Efrafins find them, and they set up some initial defenses by basically blocking off all of the holes.
Yeah.
But Hazel heads out and basically tries to make like a peace offering. That goes really shittily.
Yeah. I like
because he's like, "Oh, we should join together. We should join."
The general wants to be a greedy bitch.
I like
we should join as like a group of free Warrens, and Woundwort's like, "Well, give me all of the escaped rabbits, or else I'm going to kill you all."
That's not really what I was offering. It's like in Civilization where Teddy Roosevelt just keeps making the same fucking trade offer to you every turn, and you say no, and he just keeps asking for all your horses.
So that deal goes sour. But General still leaves some of his dudes there, and Fiverr's having another vision, which they hear down the hole. But then up there, that's when we get that cute little thing of like they're like they harness the what was that thing they were riding on to control the water?
Also,
and
they had a bird that turned into a bolt of lightning.
Yeah, it's awesome, dude.
And I'm like, oh, you guys.
It's the legend of. It's literally the legend of Big Boss. So they are both.
What is this Watership Down Metal Gear Solid comparison?
Well, no, but think about it, because they're the oppressor and the oppressed. They're Big Boss and the enemies of Big Boss at the same time. Anyway,
is Hazel not really Hazel?
I like the
it's Venom Hazel.
I like the I guess irony of like the very beginning, the first obstacle they face is it's like, well, we can't leave you on the other side of the river. You'll never find another way across. And so they forcibly solve the situation. And then they get across the river and they're like, whoa, we did it. And then they find another way across the river and get to him. I don't know. That's probably not even really, doesn't mean anything, but it makes me laugh. So.
Well, yeah, because there was of course there was a way,
of course,
to Africa without crossing the river, but they were just like, well, where the hell are they going? They're just going down the river. Yeah. No idea where they are. And then they probably just caught their scent because they probably wouldn't have stopped considering General Crazy Ass as at the lead.
Right.
Speaking of Crazy Ass, he just straight up kills one of his own while Hazel's plan's being set up.
Well, yes. Hazel heads back to the Warren after the relations fail. He takes Blackberry, Dandelion, and Hyzenthalay, basically all the best runners. One other characteristic of Dandelion not established in the movie is he's the fastest runner amongst the group.
Very little is established about Dandelion.
Which is important here. Blackberry's also technically very fast.
It's not that hard to set that up. Like, come on.
Well, I feel like they didn't set it up because it's just kind of weird to just say, like, Dandelion is the fastest.
It doesn't really need to be set up.
Because he runs really fast.
It makes sense. Middle school. You get what's going on when they execute the plan.
Yeah, it's more established in the book, just more through narration,
obviously.
But anyways,
so they set up runners in a certain points.
Yes, because Hazel, he listened to Fiverr say, "There's a dog loose in the wood," even though it's not loose in the wood. And he basically tells Bigwig, "Hey, you just need to defend everyone down this run." And we cut away and we see Hazel's plan in action as he makes a solemn prayer to Frith.
Mm-hmm.
And Frith has a very grave answer for him. He's just like, people make sacrifices, dude, but what is will be.
Yeah, I love that.
Which is a reference to one of the stories that's told in the book.
Yeah.
It's one of the last tales that's told, but I don't remember exactly what it was about. I think the title is like El Herrera and the Black Rabbit of Death or something like that. But it's about self-sacrifice and stuff.
I like that because it's like, he cares about his friends and he's concerned that this won't succeed, but he's got a good plan that works. And the reason it works is because of the rules of the ecosystem. So he talks to Frith, which is, like in my opinion, symbolic for the ecosystem. And it's like, hey man, whatever works is whatever works. I don't change anything.
Right.
But Hazel's smart enough to play the game and win, essentially. To play the running game and succeed. And so it's all his accomplishment. It's no divine intervention.
It's a callback to the turtle and the hare, It's
or the thing at the beginning where you gotta run.
Or the thing at the beginning.
I mean, I guess if you want to call it back to that, I guess.
The thing that's in the movie, I might prefer
the thing that's important. And then
so General invades, right? He's finally invading.
Oh yeah, the General breaks through. He has all of his rabbits.
See how OP this fucker is. He's one-shotting everyone.
Well, I mean, he one-shots Blackavar, who was kind of already basically at like a fourth of his health anyway. So
so what?
It's not really that.
I also meant, was Blackavar the one where General just kills him while he was at his he just kills one of his own guys, one-shotted. That's what I'm talking about.
But he wasn't really one of his guys anymore because he had defected.
Are you talking about the guy that jumps out of the tunnel when he's inside the Warren?
No, before that, when he was in his own Warren, wasn't he? Yeah, it's okay. They're attacking.
Might be.
Wait, are you
talking about? Sorry, are you talking about the scene where you see one rabbit get ripped apart by other two rabbits?
No, like a scene specifically. I could just be confusing it, but General just kills a guy in a burrow, while his own guys surround him. Which I think is what Dunk said, where he wasn't one of his own guys anymore. He was probably trying to defect.
I think it's probably the old shitty guy that got busted in the earlier.
I don't remember.
But I was going to ask because it looks like he stays behind to sacrifice himself in that sequence.
Who, General?
No, the old shitty guy who's like falling apart.
Oh. Yes, Blackavar. That's basically what happens. Right. Yeah, he attempts to confront Woundwort, and Woundwort just basically knocks him down.
Right.
Oh, okay.
And then he's dead.
But now General's inside sneaking about. But Bigwig earlier
had a plan.
Buried himself in the ground. Yeah,
Under
which you almost forget.
Like dirt.
Like General enters And just before you can remember that Bigwig is hiding down here somewhere, Bigwig just pounces
like
on
a fucking
which is
trapdoor
awesome.
spider. Yeah, it's so badass.
Yeah, exactly. Trapdoor bunny. It's a new species we just discovered.
Yeah,
in the 70s.
They beat the shit out of each other.
Brutal, gruesome, bloody rabbit
Bigwig's
violence.
holding up his own. I've never seen such a badass rabbit.
Along the way, we see the dog get released.
Dog's making its way.
Yeah.
And the cat harasses Hazel for a little bit before it's called off by a human. We cut back to Woundwort and Bigwig, and this is a very important line, at least I think so, is the fact that, like, Woundwort's like, oh, why are you sacrificing yourself? And then Bigwig's like, oh, it's for my chief. And then Bigwig's like, your chief?
Yeah. Because
he's like, there's someone even bigger and stronger than you.
Right, and also, there's never been, because he was the leader of the rescue mission, so there's been no encounter with Hazel for Woundwort at all.
Right,
yeah.
Because even when Hazel's doing the accords with Woundwort, he just said he was a friend of Bigwig's.
Yeah.
He didn't say he was the leader.
I don't know if we passed it already, but during one of the handoffs for passing the dog over, right underneath a antenna tower.
Yeah, it starts
what
pissing
happens?
and it loses interest for a little bit.
He pisses, he takes a little break before chasing the other rabbit, and then just before he could turn around and then find the other rabbit just resting there, like basically could be dead. The other rabbit gets close enough to the fence, and the fence has bushes, and then birds fly up, and then sort of save the day. Which is actually like the second time this has happened, I think. Like where the distraction
very
of the birds
important
happened.
detail.
Yeah, because that's when that almost seems like Frith was,
Frith was there?
egging him on, maybe. Maybe.
Well,
maybe.
Rabbits don't lay
know.
eggs,
I'm just
so
putting it out there. Yeah.
Well,
Can't
they have
use that
eggs
term.
inside of them. That's how mammals work. They have egg cells.
Okay, okay, buddy.
Yeah.
Alrighty then.
All right. What not? We can teach him.
No, I know. I'm just joking.
Okay. All right.
He doesn't know how babies are made. So, anyways, the dog gets up
Finally
Watership Down
arrives.
and kills the shit out of a lot of those rabbits and scares the fuck out of the rest.
And Woundwort's like, comrades, don't turn around.
What the hell are you
Cowards
doing?
will
It's
be
just a
shot.
dog.
Yeah. He's like, dogs. What is he? He says like dogs don't.
Dogs aren't dangerous.
Yeah,
aren't dangerous.
That's the most telling bit of character development for Woundwort, where he shows no any trace of being fazed by the dog and just jumps straight into the motherfucker and like, let's go, bitch.
Yeah,
let's roll.
At first, you might be going, oh my god, he's still trying to manipulate his people. But then General jumps and attacks the dog, and
no,
it's
he
like
genuinely believes that.
He's just,
like I said, this dude's dark side.
He's just never encountered anything stronger than him in his entire life. Somehow, it's just never happened.
Hey, maybe General was right. Hey, maybe he's right. It's hard. You can't run a burrow without having a few deaths. You can't. General is basically Kim Jong-un right now.
And yes, like in the book, they never find his body.
Nope.
Yeah,
and as a story, they tell the kids
a boogeyman.
And they make him into a boogeyman because holy shit, that's a pretty good boogeyman.
Which is, I think it's funny that it's used to get kids to do what they're told, when the reason he sucked was that he was too authoritarian to everyone. And then it's like, you better obey me, or the dictator is going to come and get you and fuck your shit up.
That's so true. But now everything's okay.
Well, now we're in the falling action as we cut to a few years later. Well, in the book they say it's a few years later. We can tell because
Hazel's gray.
He's got a little bit of
gray.
It's definitely not next Tuesday, that's for sure.
Yeah. I don't know how long rabbits live. This could be just the next day, as far as I know.
A few years, like 3 to 4. 4 being really high.
Man, that's the life right there. No time to get bored.
Actually, no, it is. That doesn't make sense though, because they're so active. They probably they wear out their hearts pretty quickly.
I don't know if that is the way that works.
It's more the fact that they're just small.
Yeah.
And
yeah. I mean, animals
small dogs live for very long. So I was equating it.
Animals just have bonkers life cycles, dude. Like
that's also very true.
Tortoises just live like for all time.
Eons. That's why the Earth is stacked up underneath them.
Exactly. See.
So when
Old Man Hazel.
So Old Man Hazel is out to Silflay in the fields. That means graze. and he's visited by a
Their
spirit,
god.
the Black Rabbit. Personally, I think it's El Herrera, but I think the general consensus is that it's the Black Rabbit of Death, or Inle.
Oh, okay.
And he's basically like, hey, you want to join my Owsla, just full of cool guys, just like you?
Want to join my Rabbit Valhalla?
Don't worry about those. Don't worry about your Warren. There's going to be
They're
a shit
cool.
ton. There's going to be a shit ton like them. If
Which
you come with me,
cool.
I'll show you
they're
what
all
they.
relaxed. Yeah,
I'll show you what I mean.
it's a good time to leave. Yeah.
And then he leaves his body and he just hops over the hills.
Yeah.
And then they cut back to Frith's final line in the story at the very beginning. All the world will be your enemy.
Yeah.
And that's the end.
Beautiful.
The end.
Yay.
Wonderful ending.
Yay.
I mean,
look very good.
I think if I was writing the story, I probably would have cut the bit where his spirit leaves his body and goes to the afterlife, because that's just not my style, but it's still very nice. It's still very
What is that supposed to mean?
well, it's just
I don't like seeing spirits come out of the bodies that they were just in.
Do you
pretty
think
much.
you'd rather it much be more ambiguous?
well, no, I just think that like his death means something,
like plague dogs.
because he risked his life so many times and gave up so much and succeeded in the end. And I just kind of think like the concept of an afterlife just kind of takes some of the meaning out of great things people do.
Well,
in their
I mean,
life, or
they
rabbits.
never. I don't think they ever really establish
Right.
there being an afterlife for rabbits, but I think he was just kind of selected. It's almost like the Grecian afterlife.
Yeah.
If you know what that's like, where if you're like a normal guy, you go to the underworld and it just kind of sucks. But if you're really cool, you can go to this really small part of the afterlife where you can be like a cool guy.
Yeah.
And you can meet other cool
where's
guys.
Bigwig?
But
Bigwig deserves to go there too.
But if you choose to, you can reincarnate, and if you live as a cool guy 2 more times after you reincarnate, basically, if you live as a cool guy 3 times, you unlock the extra special afterlife.
Oh my
And you
god.
can go to the really,
New
really,
Afterlife Plus.
really cool place where you can meet like Heracles.
So
and
it's
shit,
literally you
and, like,
got to
Greek
beat
philosophers.
New Game Plus Plus is that's
Basically,
wow,
yeah.
okay.
You have to beat New Game plus plus plus.
Completionist. Route,
No, I just mean that I don't know. I'm not religious. I'm not really hostile towards religion, but like in the context of a story, I think like because we don't experience spirits after people die. I just think it usually means more if death happens the way that we know it to happen. That's all it is. Unless that's like part of the point of the story. You know what I mean? Like I just that's just my personal thing, but it doesn't really mean that the movie's worse for it or anything. It's just a thought.
So yeah, what's everyone's conclusion?
Okay,
I guess. I mean, I think we all liked it. Obviously,
I want to mention that this movie is like it.
Not for children.
It's not. It doesn't have a lot in common with The Lion King, but it has a bit in common with. And it feels just like a good version of The Lion King because I have so many issues with The Lion King.
That's an odd
what? You
connection.
don't like
I would
Lion
not have
King?
drawn that.
Well,
then again, I haven't seen The Lion King.
Well, no,
because
it's like
except for
I
when I
like
was a
The
kid.
Lion
I'm just so hostile towards The Lion King's like narrative of like the circle of life, where it's like he almost makes his own decisions, but then the meaning is that he goes back and does exactly what his fucking dad did, and then he's
And what everyone
fulfilled.
wants him
yeah,
to.
and it's like
yeah.
Well,
okay, whatever. But it's like
Yeah, but they say
this.
all I have to say about that is don't ever read Hamlet.
Oh yeah,
It
for
is
sure.
Hamlet, isn't it? I need to read more Shakespeare.
Well, if you've seen The Lion King, you've read Hamlet.
Okay.
Except it's a
Okay.
lot less prosy.
Is there Nazi imagery and a really sick ass song with Jeremy Irons?
I don't think there are really songs.
Is there
in Shakespearean
Nazi imagery
plays.
in The Lion King? You don't stop.
Yes.
Is there Nazi imagery in
the Be
Shakespearean
Prepared-
poetry?
You know, Be
300 years
Prepared?
before that was a thing?
When Be Prepared, when Scar's up there, and then the hyenas are in rows, Nazi marching from the right to
yeah,
left.
I do
That's-
remember that actually.
That's Nazi
That's
imagery.
just-
my
That's
friend.
very.
Is it, or is that just
very overt.
generalized
No, it is.
dictatorship? Fascist?
Literally.
Okay, whatever. That's fine. I
It
believe
is.
you.
I feel like it's. I feel like Hitler is the easy connection to make, but I feel like you could attribute it to any like general dictator. Like you could say Stalin or like.
You guys
maybe
go
even
ahead and you
Pol
name me
Pot.
a more iconic in appearance dictatorship than the Nazis, wearing Hugo Boss,
Well-
driving Mercedes Benz and Volkswagen.
I mean, Hitler's the most
what
iconic
about
dictator,
Pol Pot
but-
taking over Cambodia? What about that, huh?
Yeah, well, what did they look like?
Well, it's not
a person.
It's not an argument about what is most iconic.
No.
I mean, the only like. We're getting into the fucking Lion King, dude. Do we want to do this?
We're getting into the Lion King. We're supposed to be talking about rabbits.
We're supposed to be talking about bunnies and religion and stuff.
All I was going to say is that maybe I've only seen 2 movies with animals that talk to each other, and that's why I'm comparing them. But I just thought that it was a much more meaningful and pointed story than the Lion King, which feels like it's about fucking nothing except respecting authority and being kind of racist and getting away with it. That's all. That's it.
Yeah.
So.
Do we have anyone have any closing thoughts? Because I recommend this movie, especially after talking about it with you guys, understanding it much better. So hopefully,
check out the book as well.
I want to read it.
The book is very good.
I'm gonna read. Yeah. I'll read it.
Very, very
next
good.
Week we'll just talk about that instead of what the movie we're supposed to talk about.
Please.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Dunk. It is your choice.
Wait, no. Are we gonna do ratings? Because I would give this like a light 8 out of 10, probably something like that.
Do we do rate? I thought we just.
Well, you guys can do whatever you want, but I'm going to give it a light 8 out of 10.
I would definitely give this a recommend.
Yeah.
Not
recommend,
if you.
Yes.
I mean, for children, maybe not, because blood, also like terrifying imagery.
And
but if your kid is like
kids movie.
If your kid is like hardened,
yeah.
You know,
if your kid's seen like some fucking shit, yeah.
If he's an edgelord,
there you go.
No, yeah, like
this would be perfect.
That's definitely like very early puberty. This is a movie that you want to get going because that's gonna.
That's around the time when I saw it too. Actually,
yeah, they're gonna connect with it, man.
I think I was 12 or 13 when I first saw this.
Right.
Yeah,
so you really like this movie? Or do you have the Criterion version?
The Criterion version?
No, but
no.
Yeah, this is in the Criterion collection.
I know. I'm aware of that. I don't have any of the films in the Criterion collection because I don't really own any films.
Yeah, I used to have a couple, but I don't know. I haven't bought a DVD in like years.
Yeah, me neither.
But they are cool. They have a bunch of cool features on them, and I wouldn't.
Covers and the features.
I would be happy to see what kind of stuff they got in there for this.
So that's kind of it for Watership Down.
Well, I want to give my hold on.
I'll probably like it.
I want to give my closing thoughts real quick. If
yes, sir.
No one else has anything to say. So, in terms of film adaptations from book to film, I'd definitely put this up there as being one of my personal favorites. Mostly just because
very different.
Well, I mean, of course it's different because, you know, in a book is a non-visual medium as compared to something like a film. So the imagery is conveyed a lot more differently, and the language of the film in terms of how it moves, and you're watching the scenery and you're watching the rabbits traverse it, that is conveyed similarly in the book. And I think how they were able to translate that, you know, from book to film is not only a good mark on the filmmakers, but also a good mark on the author's part, Richard Adams, who was able to create such a really excellent story with with a surprising amount of world building for what is essentially about a bunch of rabbits moving to a new warren. It's definitely one of those books that's kind of like, I think embodies don't judge it by its cover, because you think, it's about a bunch of rabbits. How could this be an interesting and meaning story? But then you watch it and you read it and you grow to like these characters and you understand what their struggle is, and you realize that they are, even though they're rabbits, they do live in a very relatable situation, you know.
Yeah.
It's kind of the issues they deal with are very, isn't it?
Huh?
I would say it's kind of like a refugee movie.
Some people have drawn comparisons to like the forming of Israel as a country as being similar to this film.
Whoa. That sounds...
Yeah.
I don't know if
I want to get in real deep.
I don't know if I want to go there.
I don't know enough about it, but I just think it's, you know,
I don't know enough about it either.
They have their own religion here.
I know people have made that connection,
etc.
So I think that's...
If only the seagull were an American Chad bro.
Oh, of course. If he wasn't blackface bird, then it would just be the perfect film.
Yeah, what if it's about incels actually, and the bird is the Chad, and then the rabbits are the incels?
The message is that birds are better than rabbits. That's
just naturally, genetically, biologically, and they've all taken the black pill and accepted it. Yeah.
They've all taken the black gull pill.
Oh, it's awful.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I never would have watched this.
That's about it.
If you didn't make me watch it, which is why I'm happy that you made me watch it.
It's popular enough in my sort of range where like it's on my list, but it definitely never became like I need to watch this right now because I always knew it was going to be not the happiest movie. So that's why it's always been.
I remember last week you were like, "Oh, it's full of death," and it's like, well, kind of, but it's not that.
Well, you see how it has that reputation, especially after, like we said, it was rated like a PG movie.
Its
reputation's probably inflated because of its perception as a kids movie. That
exactly,
yeah, because people think it definitely hurts it more as a film because people look at the rabbits and they make those assumptions that it's a kids film, and not really.
Mm-hmm.
People make those same assumptions when they look on the cover, but it's not as, I guess, as jarring because you don't have that immediate imagery of being covered, like seeing rabbits covered in blood.
Yeah.
And shit like that.
Well, even when you start
you just see it written as a sentence.
Even when you start it, it's not like Conker's Bad Fur Day where you'll immediately realize that you've been duped. Like it'll...
Yeah.
Right.
It's a slow sinking feeling of dread.
Oh, man. I could talk for like 2 hours about that game.
Next week. That's what I'm picking for next week. Is it an LP of Conker's Bad... No, that's not. I'm sorry.
Conker's Bad Fur Day cutscenes, the movie on YouTube.
That's like, I think 7 hours. No, not 7 hours.
Jesus
I think that's like an hour and a half.
Christ, that's a lot.
All right,
I was thinking of GTA cutscenes. Yeah. I don't know why 7 hours popped in my head.
7 hours for Conker?
No.
'Tis your turn, sir.
Yeah, okay.
For the next movie.
So I'm going to pick a film that I saw in the theater, and it's one that, like... I saw the trailer and I'm like, I'm gonna love this movie, and then I saw the movie and I'm like, yeah, I love the movie. So it went
Godzilla
well.
97.
Yes.
Last action
I popped
hero.
out of the puss and went to see Godzilla 97 the same day. No,
are we doing Godzilla 98?
No.
Oh, that's what it was, 98. I thought it was 97.
No, it's called Thoroughbreds. It's a
isn't it new?
from like 2013, I think. Yeah. It's a
Thoroughbreds.
psychological
That's
drama.
a horse term, I think.
Is this the one with that girl? It is the one with that girl.
There are female characters
Taylor
in
Joy.
the film. Yeah, Anya Taylor, yeah.
And Anton Yelchin in like his
yes,
last role
Anton, and one of his best, but he's good across the board. Like he was such a great actor. So I don't know. I don't want to say too much about it because I want you guys to experience it for yourselves. But it's.
I think I saw it passively in like a red letter media.
Well, according to one review, American Psycho meets Heathers.
Yeah, I never saw Heathers.
No idea what Heathers is.
Yeah, I don't know how accurate that is.
Heathers is good.
It's definitely got a bit of American Psycho in the blood. So if you like that, then.
I like American Psycho. The teenager in me thinks it's so cool to be a psycho millionaire.
You thought he was cool when you watched it?
I thought he was so cool.
Wow, because I thought he was a sociopath and a villain. And the movie was about...
Well, sociopathy's in with the kids,
Yeah, but
not giving a shit and not being emotional.
I don't know if I'm conveying that I was an edgelord when I saw the movie, and I'm like, oh, this guy's... I guess I just hate rich people so much that that's why. Fair enough.
Oh, no! Okay, so... Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Yep.
I guess is that it? Are we good? Are we good?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Adios.
Adios. Bye bye, everyone. See you next time.